Welcome back. We're here to look ahead to Saturday lunchtime's Premier League game between Southampton and Everton. Barney, let's start with Everton. Last week they had Watford at home, newly promoted Watford at home, a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, not the most convincing start from them, is there? I think there's a bit of concern amongst the fans because they haven't had the best transfer and they haven't brought too many teams in, and this wouldn't have done much to help their optimism really going into it. They forced to come from behind twice, needed a late goal from Aruna Kone to do it after conceding, after going behind for the second time late on as well. So not the most convincing performance from the team, and newly promoted sides are always tough to play against the opening game of the season, and you can't read too much into the first game of the season, it must be said, but Everton's performance wasn't great. The one shining light might have been Barkley, coming back to form, scoring that goal, but for me it wasn't the best performance to start off with.
I think it was certainly a big game for the club because, like you say, the fans, they're not that overly enamoured with all the signings that have come in, and they're not that impressed. So I think they probably needed a really rousing performance to sort of get right behind Martinez and the team again, but they didn't get it. Like you say, Barkley, he got the start, playing that number 10 role behind Lukaku, and it was a fantastic goal that he scored, wasn't it? Really crisp hit, great strike from him, but it's too much. For the rest of the game, he sort of kept, went in and out of the game. He needs to really, be on the ball, for a good, 80% of the game to really sort of affect it as much as he can. Because when he's really on it, and I think sometimes he loses concentration a bit, but when he's really on it, he can really change games. And you see that with the goal. It was a brilliant goal.
Yeah, and I think there's questions over Kone as well. I know he scored the equaliser, but is he a good enough player to, if Lukaku gets injured, to lead the line for Everton, especially if they're pushing for Europe, which they would want to? For me, if I was an Everton fan, I'd be quite worried at the moment, unless they bring someone else in, particularly if they lose Stones as well. Other teams have got so much stronger. You look at Southampton, Swansea, Crystal Palace made some good signings, Stoke have made some brilliant signings, West Brom with Tony Pulis in charge, you'd expect them to push for top half. I'm predicting Everton to come 12th or 13th, which is quite a big drop from the first season Martinez was in charge, so I think they need to do something in the transfer window.
Certainly, one team they'll aspire to from last season is Southampton, weren't they? Because Southampton were brilliant last season and they've started their season already before the Premier League because of their European commitments. But their first Premier League game against Newcastle at St James's Park, quite a tough place to go first weekend of the season. But they went there, got a 2-2 draw. I think on the whole, it's not the worst result for them. I don't think. Pella with a great header. He started this pre-season well. Scored some good goals in Europe. Started the Premier League season with a goal as well. But one thing he's got to make sure he doesn't do is fall away, because last season he started brilliantly, didn't he? But he sort of fell away in the second half of the season, so he's got to keep his form up. But I think it was a decent point for them. Shane Long with a great header to rescue the point after Newcastle had gone 2-1 in front. So yeah, a decent start for them, I think.
I think one big plus for Pele this season will be players to share the goal scoring burden. If Long can keep up with regular goals, and they got Jay Rodriguez back, which is a huge boost for them. That would be like a new signing. He's been out for so long. If he can stay fit, he did well to play for as long as he did on Saturday. If he can stay fit, then it's a brand new player for them. I think, can they replicate last season's success? It'll be very interesting to see. Coman's got them playing in a good way. I'd certainly put them up there challenging for Europa League, but as I said with Everton, a lot of other teams have got stronger, so it's going to be tough for them to keep up that challenge. I think they might be able to do it, but it's going to be tougher than last season.
Certainly two sides here who would really want to sort of get into the top 7 this season. That would be both their ambitions. Quite a big game. What's your score prediction?
I think it's quite a tough one to call. I'd maybe give Southampton the edge just because of home advantage. I'm probably going to go for a 2-1 Southampton win.
2-1 win. I actually completely agree. I think Southampton, Everton, it just doesn't feel quite right there at the moment. And Southampton, they've looked good in Europe. It was a decent start against Newcastle, so I'm going to pick them to win 2-1 as well. So both going for Southampton to win this one 2-1. Thanks for joining us.